Y'all, it's Caitlin. I'm back again with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about a topic that's pretty relevant right now. A lot of schools have been recently announcing that they may not have in-person fall semesters. Personally, Berkeley is going to have very limited remote in-person classes, and so we're all in this kind of limbo thinking what we should do. A lot of people have been suggesting, instead of going back to school, maybe doing a remote internship or just doing an internship in general and getting a job, things like that, instead of going to school, in order to make sure that you have your full college experience with 8 full semesters or 12 full quarters. And so actually last fall I did something a little bit different, and I actually took a gap semester in order to work for Google. You might know the company. I'm just going to be talking about my experience and some things that I didn't foresee and wish I knew beforehand, and also just my overall experience working on an off semester. I got this internship pretty late. I applied in June of last year and I didn't get my offer until August. It was literally 2 days before I started actual in-person classes for Berkeley, and so I really quickly dropped all those classes. I kind of made a short-sighted decision as to whether I wanted to go forward with this internship. To say that I was in a position where I wasn't really sure I would get another great opportunity like this. I was straight out of my freshman year. I wasn't really sure that I would ever pass all of the Google interviews again, and then also I've heard that like fall they have less spots, but they have a lot less people applying as well, so they have a lot more openings for people in general, and in general the competition is not as hot. I was like, you know what, it's not bad, and just like taking it one semester off in order to intern. But of course things like the COVID pandemic happened, and I have a few regrets for only going to school 2 months my entire sophomore year. So first off, the one thing that's bad about interning is that you might fall behind in your classes compared to your peers. So there was a few classes that a lot of my friends took the fall sophomore year, and I was interning, so I didn't really have the opportunity to take it with them. And then when I took it in the spring, there was a worse professor, and then also I only had one friend taking it with me versus like 5 friends who could help me out on projects and debugging and things like that. The second thing about doing an internship that's on the off season is that there's not as many interns surrounding you. So in my team of 15 people, I was only intern, and I'm pretty sure our team members were a lot older than me, and so I didn't really relate to them on a level. Yeah, I was the only girl on that team as well, so there was a lot of different things where like our social circles didn't really coincide. It's not like when you're interning in the summer where they have all these different programs. They really just don't really have that many programs, even for a huge company like Google. You're kind of just doing work every day. Their semester is that I would get out of the habit of studying, and I only say that because I used to study really hard and I never really had a trouble just like sitting down and studying. But honestly, I literally had a lot of trouble last spring with my classes, and I think one of the things was just that like I wasn't used to just sitting down and just doing a lot of work and a lot of practice, because I was used to just like developing and doing things like that, not having to like retain a bunch of information in my head. And so even if you don't think about it, like having momentum throughout your college experience is really important. Even just a summer, and for me it was a summer and a fall, was pretty off-putting, and I'm kind of scared of going back this fall as well. So hopefully you guys are better studiers than me and don't feel like slacking off when you come back. So I had a lot of momentum in the beginning, but then also it was really hard because I wanted to do so much when I came back from a semester off. I wanted to like join new clubs, make sure I had a lot of different social activities so I wouldn't lose out on the college experience. And it was a great 2 months, but it was really, really chaotic, and I would say that I don't think I learned as much during those 2 months that I did like when I was strictly doing work my freshman year. kind of take a step back from all the activities you would typically do in school, the clubs you might join, especially when you're only in your sophomore year and you were thinking about different things to join still and different friend circles that you could join as well. So that kind of set me back a little bit. Right now, as the pandemic is going on and not a lot of people are going back to school, it might be a good time to be looking for these internships. And I think there's many great things about doing an internship on an off semester. First of all, like I said, it might be easier because there's less competition and there's less people going for the spots. Second thing is you get a lot of attention from your managers. They don't really have that much going on and you might have a bigger say in the project that you're working on. Third thing is, of course, working for like a big tech company always has its perks, like free food, things like that. And then also you're gonna be making money, so if you have student loans or anything, you might be able to set a few steps forward. It's a great option if you were planning on graduating early and you wanted more industry experience before graduating. Then you would have a lot more companies on your resume in order to write down and hopefully get a better job after. Also, if you were like looking for a return offer and you didn't get a certain internship in the summer, in the fall, then you could do it. So there's always other options and there's always many different paths to getting the job that you want. I think a great way to do that is by interning. It's just like taking a gap semester off is a little off-putting, I would say. You want to consider before making that decision is like, what's your plan to graduate? For me, I've always been a little bit ahead of schedule because the CS major at Berkeley doesn't have that many requirements. So I was planning on doing just 3 years of undergrad and just 1 year of graduate school. That if I got into grad school for CS. I didn't really strongly consider this when I signed on to Google, and now I'm gonna have to take probably 3 techs for the next 2 semesters in order to graduate in 3 years. Or I would have to take another semester off and then graduate in the spring of 2021. Or I guess I could graduate in winter of 2021 as well. And the only thing about it is that masters for Berkeley CS only takes applicants for their fall semester. They only bring on grad students in the fall. So I would have to wait a whole year. And I'm in the place where it would probably make most sense to graduate winter of 2021, but that's also a time where none of my friends are going to be graduating. There's not even going to be a ceremony, so I might like walk with them in the spring, but it's just going to be a really awkward time and make recruiting like an awkward schedule as well. So just some things that I didn't really consider. I just didn't really have a plan, and I would not recommend that. Overall, I really enjoyed my gap semester. I think I had a lot of time to make the most of it. I traveled to LA to see my friends, a lot of times to see my boyfriend in Seattle, things like that. But there was also a lot of things that I didn't foresee, like losing my momentum for studying. Like I never thought that would happen, as well as getting a little bit more distance from friends at school, more behind in classes than my other friends. You might end up with bad professors in the next semester. I also didn't consider all these things, and I feel like I should just put it out there, and if anyone is considering doing a gap semester, that they should really look into all these different things before making a decision, unlike me. I would say that if there's any semester to do a gap semester, this COVID semester coming up in the fall is probably the best time to do it. There's going to be less people on campus, there's going to be less social activities going on, and so you won't be missing out as much like I did. That being said, I think you should also strongly consider some of the cons that I mentioned. But in general, I would say that I would be a little cautious. So it all depends on your plan, and I think everyone should consider their plan a lot before they make a big decision like this, because you don't realize it, but an entire semester is a lot to lose. So be smart about it, and good luck everyone.